Hi, and welcome back to Choco Disaster, the world's first and premier anime podcast. I'm ChorpSaway.
And I'm Jordan.
And unfortunately, FutureFriend has, he had a rather nasty accident last season, which caused us to have to put the podcast on delay, as it were.
Yeah. Unfortunately, while he was watching K-On! In his car, he had a horrible accident and drove into the river.
And unfortunately, they just couldn't recover anything except for the Blu-rays of K-On!
Yeah, which were split between the two of us.
He had thrown them onto land to make sure that they did not lose any of their retail value.
Yeah. I mean, even though he was watching them, strangely enough, like, he hadn't even removed the shrink wrap from the packaging.
It's really impressive, honestly.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, FutureFriend will not be joining us.
No.
So, for now, it's just you and me, Jordan. Finally, our third wheel out of the way. We can talk about how much we fucking love anime.
I love anime so damn much.
God, I just love anime. Holy shit.
I'm so excited for this season.
Right? This season actually looking real good.
Yeah.
So, to explain our setup now, we're going to be doing one show that's just looking at all of the shows for next season and doing kind of a rate and review sort of thing as on initial impressions.
So as opposed to our previous preseason standard where we would only talk about the shows we were going to watch,
we're talking about everything.
Every single show.
We looked at all of them. There are a lot.
Wow. At first, because I saw a video a while back talking about there's just, or maybe it was like a series of tweets, I don't remember, but someone was saying one of the problems with selling anime is there's just too much anime. And my initial response to that was, I mean, there's maybe a little too much anime, but it's a 25 every season? That's not that bad, but no, it's 50.
There are 50 every season.
There's a lot of anime.
50 is considered very high for a season still. Mm-hmm. But it's still more than 25 per season.
Yeah.
Because there are some broadcasting stations that are just anime.
That's true.
Messed up, IMO, but yeah, and so then we're doing this a couple weeks before a lot of the big shows drop. So we're letting you know about the information ahead of time.
Yeah.
You'll be prepared. Then later on, once the season ends proper,
the previous season,
yeah, we'll go back, we'll talk about what we liked, what we didn't like, and how the shows we were watching ended up. Much like we did last season, but now, without as many shows in between, we're going to be able to talk more in depth about them at the end.
And I think this is the better structure because this means we're more free to watch the series at whatever pace we want.
Yeah, because definitely near the end of the original Choco Disaster series, it was difficult trying to keep up with everything on such a breakneck pace.
Yeah, and also I feel like this way it is easier, or at least easier to slot into the podcast when we drop shows, and especially when we pick up shows halfway into the season. Yeah.
And also, we'll do a mid-season episode that we'll kind of just keep people up to date, what we're staying with, what we're missing, maybe a little bit of information, but not as much as we did with, say, our bi-weekly series.
Yeah.
So it's more of, these are kind of the things that I see popping up, and we're going to save more of our analysis for the end of season shows.
So that means that now instead of having a show bi-weekly, we're going to have 3 episodes quarterly, and 2 of them are going to be very close together.
Exactly. And that, you know what? I think that's going to work out better.
Me too.
So before we start talking about all the hot anime for this fall season, let's talk about some news.
All right.
Because I've got some news, just some various things to keep up with. For example, the final Blood Blockade Battlefront episode has been given an air date.
Oh, okay.
It'll be airing October 3rd, so about when the new season starts. And the episode's going to be 46 minutes long.
Oh my.
Yeah, so it's about double length. It's taking about a full season to finish.
All right, because they also had one recap episode, didn't they?
Yes. So, someone I was talking to about this said every frame of this anime better be immaculate, given that it's taken an extra season to finish. And it's I'm sure it's going to wrap everything up since they have twice as much time to do it all. Mm-hmm. But I'm wondering what the end product's going to be like at this point.
Maybe at this rate, they should have just made a whole movie out of it.
Yeah, maybe that would have been better, but this is what we've ended up with, and so we'll take it.
Yeah.
Because it was a good series before then, before all this happened.
Before everything went downhill production-wise, it definitely showed a lot of promise.
Yeah, so hopefully this ending will be at least satisfactory.
Yeah.
Some other news? Let's see. So, on top of other releases, one of the first, big-name visual novels to come out, is getting a PS4 and PS Vita re-release next year, in February.
Oh.
I just thought that was neat, because, it's one of the...
Oh, the name, hold on, the name was Okay, I thought you said as in I knew, and I was like, what?
No.
Probably not, though.
YU-NO.
Okay.
But, a lot of the staff that originally worked on it, because it was a 1996 PC 98 game.
Oh, okay.
Is a lot of the big name staff have passed away. So this is kind of allowing to remake and kind of introduce new generation to one of the first really big visual novels to come out.
That's neat.
So that could be neat.
Yeah.
Other release things, Danganronpa 3 announced, because that just won't die.
It has a special name, doesn't it? It's new...
new Danganronpa V3.
Yeah.
Everyone's new semester of killing.
That was announced at Sony's Tokyo Game Show presser, where they also announced the Danganronpa action VR experience or whatever it was called.
What?
Yeah, they announced a VR Danganronpa game for the PlayStation virtual reality headset.
Huh.
Yeah.
This is going to be the first game to show up on a major console, because all the other ones have been on the Sony handhelds.
Yeah.
But Danganronpa 3 looks to be on PS4 and Vita. So that could be neat.
Or in Ronin, what have you wrought?
The fandom you have created has just caused this to... I'm sure it's all because of him.
Yeah.
Other news. There's a series of Pikachu plushies by a couple groups, Omakase and Tokyo Otaku Mode, of Pikachu in more domestic dresses.
Okay.
So a series of plushes of Pikachu in festival attire, or as a sailor, or as a business intern, are being released monthly. And finally, the releases have been approved for the West.
Oh, okay.
And all of them are $18.
Oh, that's not bad.
Pretty reasonable for a plush that's being sent overseas. And they're super cute. The one they focus on is the salaryman or business intern one.
Uh-huh.
He's got one of those suit coats on. He's got a little tie, and he's got glasses.
Does he have the really thick glasses with the circles in them?
Not quite the circles, but they're definitely very thick glasses. Okay. He's a cute little guy.
There was I think it was the American finals for the Pokemon, for just Pokemon, playing the actual game competitively.
Right.
They had this whole setup where the big mascot for that tournament this year specifically was a captain, Pirate Pikachu.
Oh.
And they were selling plushies and t-shirts, and it all looked great, but they were only selling them there and on location, and I wanted one of those t-shirts too. And it made me so sad.
It's unfortunate.
Yeah.
Other mascot news. So, Sega has really been pushing Love Live as a mascot sort of setup.
Oh my.
Because not only is Sonic the Hedgehog, their main mascot, they've included and have an official Twitter and everything for Rin from Love Live.
Okay.
And that became the mascot that is now also becoming the face of Puyo Puyo.
Oh.
Because a lot Sega has released an official poster and stuff of Rin from Love Live interacting with Puyo Puyo. May or may not be attached to the games yet, but is definitely part of their big marketing thing.
That's interesting. I didn't even know that Love Live was owned by Sega.
Yeah, it's weird.
Because it started as an anime, right? Or was it a game
I believe it started as an anime, turned into the mobile game.
Yeah.
Turned into the multimedia franchise it is. But yeah, I don't know how Sega got the rights to it, as it were, because they have rebranded this character as their semi-official mascot next to Sonic the Hedgehog. Yeah. Or at least had for a while.
Well, it's the song goes, love, live, and learn.
Yep. That's what Sonic the Hedgehog says.
Yep. Every time he speeds up, that's what he says.
Ugh.
It might be that because Sega is owned by a parent company, or either that or they've merged with a company called Sammy, which is a pachinko slot machine manufacturer, and it might be that they own Love Live.
Oh, it might be. That seems about right.
Yeah.
Some other assorted news. So, bundled with one of the Sword Art Online Blu-rays was part of the original soundtrack.
Uh-huh.
2 years after its release, so now, the company realized that 90% of the songs on the soundtrack were accidentally pitched incorrectly.
Great.
Like, I don't know how that happens, but somehow on all of these CDs, 21 of 27 tracks were pitched incorrectly and therefore sounded drastically differently than on the TV. And I just thought, wow, holy shit.
Well, I'm sure there's a huge overlap between Sword Art Online fans and Nightcore fans.
Enthusiasts.
Yeah, so I'm sure they didn't mind that much.
Yeah, maybe they thought it was okay.
Yeah.
I just thought it was such a weird thing to also not notice until 2 years afterwards.
Yeah, like no one said anything.
Because we're talking original Sword Art Online, not like the second season Blu-rays.
That was like 2012, right?
The Blu-rays were 2013.
Okay.
And it's just like, holy shit. Incredible, honestly.
Yeah. No, that's really impressive.
Here's the tweet from the composer of the soundtrack. To those that have been enjoying the CD until now, I've only just heard all of the mistakes in the songs. I simply can't believe I didn't notice until just now. I truly feel terrible about this, and I think they're gonna re-release something.
Okay.
Yeah, so any customers with faulty CDs can send their disc and like information back so they can be replaced with corrected soundtracks.
All right. That's
so
nice.
they're at least, fixing it up, 2 years after the fact.
Yeah.
It works out. All right, and that's all the news I had for this show. So let's get to the part everyone's been waiting for.
Yeah.
The anime part.
Yeah.
So before the show, we put together a list
of
all the anime this season, and we have them in a series of tiers. We're going to start at our A tier, what we think is going to be the best of the best this season.
Or at least what we're the most interested in. Yeah.
And we'll slowly go down until we hit the bottom tier, which has been dubbed the Trash Garbo-Tier.
Yep.
Which is where we put all the things that we believe are objectively bad.
Yeah. Not just like shows that are boring, but shows that are like probably vile in some way or another.
Right. And so we'll get to that in a minute and we'll discuss why each of those, but yeah. That's our current setup. So let's start with our A tier.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like you to start.
Okay, first things first, we've got something that I've been super excited for, and I assume you as well.
Yes.
The second season of the anime Haikyuu, which is a show about a high school volleyball team, and it's the best.
It's a really good sports anime.
Yeah, it's got great art. First of all, it's done by Production IG, which is actually no small feat because I read the manga, and the manga actually doesn't look all that great.
The manga has a very distinct style of, if they are not very important to the panel, they are drawn very poorly.
And everyone looks fat because of the way the artist draws chins.
I think it's charming.
He doesn't, like, the way he closes the line is weird, so it looks like everyone has double chins.
I think it's still a very charming art style, but yes, Production IG very much cleans it up.
Yeah, like, very clean art style, but great animation, too.
Yeah.
It does one thing that I think is incredibly impressive, not just within the realm of anime, but even just media in general, is very early on it introduces a character who, at the start, his main character trait is a dick. But even right from then, like, he is already relatable and understandable. Like, you can tell what makes him tick and how he thinks and why he does that. And that is so hard to do, and the fact that they get that right is really impressive. And every character is like that, whether or not they're jerks or not. You just immediately get a feeling.
They're all very relatable.
Yeah, all characters have like completely understandable motivations and emotions. It's great.
It's a very strong series.
Yeah.
And so a second season of that is just like, give me more.
Yeah,
sure.
Please. If you're only gonna watch one anime this season, for my money, make it this one.
All right. Then next up...
No, hold on.
okay.
I wasn't done yet. I mean, sort of, but I think because the manga for this is currently running in Shonen Jump.
Uh-huh.
And it's probably the best manga running in Shonen Jump right now, and I think it's the greatest sports manga of all time.
It's I'm not big on sports stuff, to be fair, but Haikyuu is probably one of the, like, better things I've seen out of sports.
Yeah, for sure. It's, like, I'll tell you this. I actually think the actual sport volleyball, I really don't like watching it personally, just because of the way, like, a round is structured. But, man, this series just sells it so good, and I genuinely think it's, like, cream of the crop for sports manga. It's better than Slam Dunk, and it's better than Eye Shield, and you should watch it. You should check it out. One
nice thing about Haikyuu is that while there's a lot of the sort of, like, pausing in the middle of a game sort of stuff for, like, monologuing and, you know, kind of character building, it never feels like it really drags on as much.
No.
Like, they play a good number of games within the first season, even though a lot of it's, like, training arc, kind of getting the characters to start working together.
Yeah.
It's pretty impressive, I think, as how it balances kind of the whole story out.
Absolutely. And, speaking of Eye Shield 21...
Uh-huh.
It's One Punch Man.
Yeah. Done by Madhouse, so we already know the animation, if nothing else, is going to be good.
Yeah.
One Punch Man is based on a web manga by an artist named One, who's very bad at art.
Yeah, he is. Well, what's interesting, right, is that if you look at his newer artwork,
like for 100 Mob Psycho or
no, like even just for One Punch Man, yeah. Okay. If you look at his newer artwork, like, it still looks bad, but he's really decent at composing a panel and, like, drawing poses. It's just that his line work is horrible. Which, it's really strange to look at.
And that's one thing that I think the fact that he's so good at composition is the reason that another artist ended up picking up the series and redrawing it.
Yeah.
And the person who picked it up, I don't remember the artist, but
it is the Eye Shield 21 artist.
Is it?
Yes. That's why,
why
the segue.
Okay. Alright, now I get it.
Yeah.
But, the Eye Shield 21 artist picked it up and is really good at, like, this sort of
he's just really good.
Just really good at art in general, but using the composition from One and his style really, like, ups the ante of One Punch Man.
Yeah.
Because there's a couple segments in, like, the One Punch Man manga by the Eye Shield 21 artist where, like, you can see how it would be animated from panel to panel because of how methodical everything is put together.
There are some parts of his name is Yusuke Murata, by the way, and there's some parts where his version, you can just take a couple of the panels and compose them into a GIF, because that's how, like, smooth the transition from one to another is. It's ridiculous.
So, One Punch Man being taken over by Madhouse is just like, this is getting cream of the crop sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Like, we're already taking something that really good composition, moved to really good artistry, moved to one of the most well-known, companies in animation.
One of the most prestigious, I would say.
Yeah, for prestigious. That's probably the better word. So, that should be really good, and I like that all the previews and stuff have really sold it as an action series. Yeah. Which means that people who aren't familiar with it are going to get in real shock when it turns out to be a comedy series about superheroes.
We should probably mention what this series is
a little bit
about
what One Punch Man is about.
Yeah.
It's about a man named Saitama, who has trained himself so much that he is incredibly powerful to the point where he can defeat any opponent with a single punch.
Just the one.
Hence, One Punch Man.
Yeah.
And so,
in Japan, the series is referred to as One Punch Man, and it is called that because it is actually, in some ways, a tribute to, like, another Japanese superhero called Anpan Man.
Right, and that he's probably one of the most famous, like, children's superheroes.
Yeah.
But One Punch Man is, it's really just the story about this guy who's really not a hero, because he doesn't have his license or anything. Mm-hmm. But he just goes around, like, helping the town every so often, just punching an enemy, and then it dies, and then he's done.
Yeah.
Then he goes back to his normal day of, just doing whatever.
It's one of those series where the comedy comes from, like, the dissonance between the characters' values and the values that the audience might perceive. Mm-hmm. For example, one of the jokes that happens, like, fairly early on in the series is One Punch Man has a bad day, And at some point he says, if another shitty thing happens to me, I might just blow this planet up. Because that's the kind of thing he can do, and that's like, it's a lot like that.
He's a very emotional sort of character.
Yeah.
Despite being very, like, silly and kind of simple.
Mm-hmm.
He's also got a lot of, like, values, just like that. It's really impressive, I think, how well it hits kind of all the things you'd expect from both action and comedy.
Yeah.
Especially when it comes to Saitama, who's like he's just like a bald superhero.
Mm-hmm.
So while everyone else is like impressively well drawn, like occasionally you can tell even with, was it Murata?
The second guy?
Yeah.
He's called Murata, yeah.
Yeah, Murata. Just draws like this very crude oval for his head.
Yeah.
Just like you can see a dissonance between the characters where like he very much stands out because he's so simple compared to everyone else.
Yeah. Cause it's interesting cause like all the other characters have almost like a Bleach sense of like very edgy demon design to them. And then just having this character that looks like something out of a children's superhero cartoon. It's pretty funny.
And like all the villains and like other characters that appear, very, again, serious sort of tone and everything. Like there's one main character who's like defeated just because he's like kicked in the nuts.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of very just like simple humor sort of stuff that works really well. And so One Punch Man looking good.
Yep. Also, the first 2 volumes of the manga are going to get released in pocket form next month.
I think they already were, because the New York Times has them at the top of their manga best-selling list.
I think that's pre-orders then.
That might be pre-orders.
Yeah. It also runs, I think, in the American version of Weekly Shonen Jump.
It might. I'm not sure.
Unlike Haikyuu, goddammit.
Yeah, for some reason Haikyuu doesn't run in the English Weekly Shonen Jump.
Yeah, and like in Japan, One Punch Man doesn't even run in Shonen Jump at all. It's just on the internet somewhere.
Yeah. Well, I mean, originally it is a web manga.
Yeah,
so.
Right. Please translate Haikyuu.
So speaking of numbers, first we had the One Punch Man, now we have Lupin the Third.
Mm-hmm.
And so, this is the newest Lupin the Third series, for 2015.
Yep.
It's actually been airing for about 11 episodes as of recording this podcast, in Italy, because that's where the new series takes place. And it will start broadcasting, I believe, the 2nd, so 2 Fridays from when we're recording this.
All right.
The October 2nd. And so that's when we'll finally get access to be able to watch it.
It feels weird that this anime is already almost done, and yet we're not...
it's 24 episodes. It's only halfway
you're
done.
right. All right. It's halfway done.
Yeah.
Same point, really.
And so it's, Lupin the Third has always been kind of a interesting sort of series.
Yeah.
Because half the time it is a very much like gentleman thief sort of action-adventure thing. But as, like, from the start, it was heavily based in comedy as well, because the whole point is that Lupin the Third is incompetent.
Yeah.
And kind of lucks his way into a lot of his winnings.
Mm-hmm.
But as it's gone on, they've gotten a more and more serious sort of tone as they've gone along. Which, at this point, apparently the new series is more serious than original Lupin, and fits a lot more into the, they did a revival series a couple years ago called, it's based around the female main character, Fujiko Mine, and it's much more in tone with that than it is with the original Lupin.
Huh.
Which I don't think is bad.
No.
I feel like some amount of development is important. But it's going to be, it blends the old series with the new, because also, like, I think it's half and half split for the staff. Half the staff that worked on Fujiko Mine, and half the staff that worked on original Lupin, including the original creator.
Yeah.
Are all in on it. So it should be interesting. Like, the PV they have out for it has like a remixed version of the original Lupin theme, which kind of shows, it's not all entirely like separated from the past, but it's also updated.
Oh, okay. I actually didn't even know that was the original theme song.
Oh yeah, So that should be really neat. Lupin the Third has always been like a joy to watch, from the things I've caught of it. So it should be fun to see, especially with kind of updated animation and everything given time.
And this was also supposed to come out last season, and it got delayed, so hopefully it ends up looking real good.
Yeah. So that's that. Next up.
This is the last anime of the A-tier, and
Yeah.
also the only one that only you are watching.
Yeah, so for the last three, me and Jordan are both watching them.
Yeah.
This one is me only. And Brave Beats is by the same team that's doing Tribe Cool Crew right now, which initially I watched because I didn't know what to expect, and I kind of expect to go, kind of not like it.
Mm-hmm.
Turned out one of my favorite animes I've watched.
Okay. You do tweet about it a lot.
Yeah, I love Tribe Cool Crew. So Tribe Cool Crew is a story about a dance crew in Japan, kind of a lot of it's like just honing abilities and kind of learning how to, grow up and deal with problems, all while doing street dancing, which for the anime they have, or the studio who does it, Bandai Namco, they have street dancing teams on set to do all the choreography, which they then turn into 3D dancing sections for the characters.
That is really cool.
Which is really cool. So all of these moves are like, they're things that people would do. They're actual dance routines that they have for these different groups that show up in the story. And it's a lot of fun just because it's a children's anime. So it tends to be very frantic with, just trying to keep attention, but it's also got a lot of heart to it. There's a lot of things that, children can learn from it and lessons and stuff. Things like, just even simple things like body positivity sort of things. Like one of the main characters is super fat,
mm-hmm.
but knows how to use his weight to kind of help with the movements and kind of, use it for dance.
Okay.
And, recently the main plot has actually shown up. I think it's near the end of its, I think it's going to end in 2 or 3 episodes because it's reached kind of the apex of its plot.
Okay.
Which has suddenly involved anti-terrorism through the power of dance. And so it's just this
What
super...
is this, Yu-Gi-Oh?
It's the super bonkers sort of plot that it's just so charming because it still fits in with the kind of concept they're doing because it all bases around this sort of Michael Jackson-esque dancer.
Uh-huh.
That is going around trying to do world peace and kind of the groups that are fighting against him.
Okay.
And all of it is done through the power of dance. So it's very charming and I think it's very nice and well animated. And this new one is apparently more of the same, but instead of terrorism being the issue, it's intergalactic war.
Okay.
About some robot hits Earth and he comes from a planet of dance, and because he's no good at dancing, he's gonna lose the throne to someone who's trying to usurp him.
Damn.
And so he teams up with these humans, and other robots eventually show up and fight as well to gain back his throne through space dance. They have they have crew on again to do the choreography and everything. Oh, I'm so excited.
See, I actually didn't even know until I was composing this order list that this and Tribe Cool Crew were created by Bandai Namco, or animated by Bandai Namco's animation studio.
It's Bandai Namco and Sunrise are the duo that work on it.
Okay, but that must mean that this is some multimedia franchise, right?
The thing, it's hard to say because with Tribe Cool Crew, it was just a single video game and the anime.
Okay.
So I don't know about Brave Beats yet. They haven't really announced a lot of stuff about it.
Alright,
but I mean, if it's multimedia, that'd be cool.
That's surprising because Bandai Namco is a video game and toy company, so yeah. You'd think they'd be all right on that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, maybe this may have been a test, as it were, for Tribe Cool Crew to figure it out.
Maybe.
So we'll see how Brave Beats ends up. But yeah, I'm really excited for that.
I mean, there's probably figures out there, but I mean,
probably.
that's a given with any anime.
Mm-hmm. Alright, and so now we've hit the end of our A tier.
Mm-hmm. Are definitely excited for.
Yeah,
that's what that
here's
was.
B tier, which we're excited for, but not as much as the other ones.
Yeah.
So, I'll have you start.
Alright, so first of all, we've got an anime called Young Blackjack, which is being done by a company called Tezuka Productions, which is an animation company that was started way back in the day by none other than Osamu Tezuka, the creator of Astro Boy. And another one,
the original Blackjack.
Yeah, that's right. And that's another one of his really popular creations, which is about this guy who goes around doing good things, and then he never gets recognition for it, and it's really sad, but it's also like funny and interesting.
Because he does like lots of surgery stuff.
Yeah, right. He's a trained surgeon, and he helps people out. But it looks like this series has like a far more. It looks to be more serious than the original Blackjack, because it tells a story of when he was still in medical training. That's what this series is about.
Right.
And it looks like it's going to be more serious in tone, and it also has a much more serious art style. Because the Blackjack manga actually looks fairly cartoony for the most part, and it usually doesn't have any like detailed backgrounds. It's usually just characters talking. So yeah, this looks like it's going to be a little bit more. I mean, I hesitate to use the term mature, but I guess that's what it is, because it is. Even the original manga had like took on some pretty serious subject matter a lot of the time, but it was like treated with a light tone, and it looks like this is going to give it take the story in a more like natural way. And I don't know, it looks interesting. I love Blackjack, so I'm sure it's gonna be, or I hope it's gonna be fun.
So I don't know anything about Blackjack really, besides kind of the basics. So while I looked at it and like, oh, that's kind of neat, I didn't think to watch it. Mm-hmm. So and Young Blackjack not done at all by Tezuka. This is all of it was written after his death.
Yeah.
So whether or not these I guess ghost writers, they're not writing under his name, but like they're, you know, kind of taking the story of Blackjack and kind of reappropriating it for this different audience and everything.
Yeah.
We'll see how it works.
So, like, it could be good. It could also go the way of the Astro Boy movie that had Nicolas Cage in it and be real bad. But I hope not.
The live action one.
Yeah.
I almost forgot that existed.
Yeah.
And maybe it would have been better for that.
Maybe. But you can't have everything you want.
Mm-hmm. Next up, we have Concrete Revolution, which both me and Jordan are watching.
Yep.
It's by Bones. And I believe it's also by a lot of the production behind Fullmetal Alchemist, the original anime series.
I wouldn't know about that.
And it's about after some war, Japan has grown like technologically, and suddenly all superheroes and life, you know, like super life forms appear all at once in Japan. Mm-hmm. And so they've set up this like anti-superhero sort of like robot squad to fight back against them. And that's as far as I understand about the concept of the anime.
Yeah, like the concept sort of made me go, I don't know about this, because I'm not really into superheroes and I'm very not into giant robots, but the art looked so good that I had to put it on this list anyway and watch it and give it a shot. It's
super vibrant. It's a very vibrant, colorful art style, mm-hmm. which it draws in really well, and it's very engaging, I thought.
Absolutely.
And it seems like it's not just going to be, you know, a mech show or a superhero show.
No.
So it should kind of push it out of the realms of a lot of the trappings that usually get caught with those sorts of things.
Yeah.
And so that should be neat.
We're not going to be, I say, crying at the end.
Oh, we'll see. We'll see how much crying there is.
I mean, maybe.
Mm-hmm. All right. Next up is a show I'll be watching, called Comet Lucifer.
Uh-huh.
Comet Lucifer, as far as I can tell, is sort of this, like, almost Treasure Planet-esque sort of adventure anime.
Oh man, now you actually got me hooked on this already.
Or kind of Gurren Lagann-y. It's about these characters in a mining town on another planet where a whole bunch of precious crystals are kept, and they're kind of mining them in order to sell and profit off of. Mm-hmm. And one day, the main character gets wrapped up in this huge riot by his classmates, and it's about an adventure of like this guy as he kind of explores the world, you know, finding these crystals, engaging with people. And, like, there's not a lot of information about what really goes on, but it seems like it's part, like, traveling anime, part some sort of, like, miniature mech battle.
Okay.
Because it's not, like, big robots, but it's, like, he's going to be fighting against people also searching for these rare crystals. In, like, either, like, souped-up space cars, or, like, he's on some kind of weird, like, glider sort of thing. Like, space glider. So, I don't know what it's going to end up like, but I'm interested to see how it goes, because it seems like a lot of things that are just dropped in scale to the point where everything seems more manageable for it.
Okay.
But the PV is, like, super unhelpful. Because like, watching it, a lot of it seems like, kind of pre-artwork, like, stuff as they're doing sketches for what, like, set pieces and everything.
That's where you get a lot with previews. Because, I mean, when you look at the way anime production usually goes, like, they don't have anything ready before the episode goes up.
But yeah, so there's, like, not a lot to run off of, but I'm excited to see how it turns out.
Okay. So this is a bit of a wild card, then. It's
a bit of a wild card, but I think it has a good chance of being something worth watching.
Yeah. Is this based on anything, or is this an original work?
Okay. It's all original.
So then it's a double wild card.
Yeah, for sure.
All right.
So you have one next up.
Yeah, speaking of double wild card, we have a series that's called... Alright, let me see if I can not butcher this single really long word completely. Utaware Rumono, The False Mask, which it's based on a video game, but I don't know anything about the video game.
Probably Japanese only.
Yeah, but it looks like it might be this season's version of Raka Braves of the Six Flowers. And that it's kind of, can't really tell what it's about, and on the surface it looks a little generic, but the art is really nice, and the characters are all somewhat visually interesting.
They're varied.
Yeah.
Which is important. And
it looks like it might be a pretty interesting little action series, so I hope it turns out better than Raka.
Yeah, so one of the characters, as I was looking through the PV, just a giant bird. Just like
there's just a
6-foot tall pigeon.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, that's great. And like, as I was looking at it, it's like, anime and fantasy seem to have like a very sketchy record.
Yeah.
With whether or not they're interesting or kind of trite. So I'm skipping out on this one until I can be told whether or not it's hitting more marks.
Yeah. Well, the thing is also, it says fantasy on the label, but it definitely draws more, seemingly at least, from like Eastern mythology than than European fantasy.
Yeah, which is important.
Yeah, like that already edges it a little closer to might be good.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I have high hopes for this one, and it's going to be 25 episodes long, so it's either going to be a good ride or it's going to just be me crying the whole time.
And we'll find out sooner or later.
Yeah.
Okay, so next up, I've got a show I'm watching called Heavy Object. And as far as Heavy Object is some kind of military sci-fi mecha garbage.
Okay.
But one thing about it that seems to really separate itself from the Gundam, which is basically its own genre of mecha and basically the only genre of mecha. What separates it from, say, a Gundam sort of series is it seems a lot more character-focused and less focused on kind of talking about how war is terrible all the time. It's a lot less discourse-related, it seems.
And I assume then that means it's also less, like, grand scope, like, war drama?
Yeah, I assume that it's going to be a lot less of that, because it seems like it's more just focusing on kind of soldiers in training, sort of more fighting, and I'm sure there's going to be some sort of, like, discussion along with it, but it seems a lot more character-focused, kind of like the interactions between these people in these situations.
Okay.
So, I'm interested in it, and it seems like it's going to be a lot less, like, seriously focused, because instead of, like, you know, big mechas, really, like, the main ship that they drive is this, like, snowmobile, like, orb that's just surrounded in guns.
Okay.
Like, so, like, it's an orb that's basically on kind of like a turnstile attached to, like the snowmobile sort of treads.
Uh-huh.
And it's just got, like, 100 guns just covering it.
So it's like one of those balls that has, like, suction cups on all sides that you throw down the stairs, but instead of suction cups, it's just guns.
Right. So, like, already it seems like it's a lot more focused on kind of maneuverability rather than, like, the big humanoid mechas using swords and stuff.
Alright.
Which, I think pulls it enough away from kind of the things that I dislike about that sort of mecha series that I'm willing to give it a shot. Plus, it's JC Staff. JC Staff generally does pretty good stuff, at least as far as looks.
When they're not trying to make that Sword Art Online money, they usually make good stuff.
No, that's A1, isn't it?
Yes, but JC Staff also tries to make the Sword Art Online money.
Oh, you're right. We'll get to that in a bit.
Yeah.
But yes, that occasionally happens. This is apparently based on a light novel, which, again, it doesn't immediately make it bad.
No, absolutely not.
Because it's not attached to, say, like, the harem tag. Or things like that, so...
Yeah.
We'll get to that in a moment, though. We're getting ahead of ourselves.
We are.
But that's heavy object.
Maybe not entirely, actually. But
okay.
Next up on the list is a show called Koabon by a studio called ILCA. And it's a horror series. And I think I'm of the opinion that, from my perspective as a Westerner, Japanese horror is just, like, it's easier for that to do the job than Western horror just because it has that inherent foreignness to it, which always makes it, at least to some degree, a little weirder.
And really, the only other thing they've worked on is Japanese horror stories as a series. So, like, that's kind of their thing, as it were, for now.
There's very little about what the series is going to be. Like, there's very little information out there on what the series is going to be about, which for a horror show might be the best thing. But the preview looked really intriguing. However, the description for it says that it will feature bondage crossed with stylish horror, which really, depending on the amount of restraint they show, could go either way.
And what they actually mean by that.
Yeah, exactly. So, like, this is one of those that could either end up being the best anime of the season, or it could be, like, dropped by the end of the first episode.
One thing I thought was weird about it is that it's being done by rotoscoping.
Yeah.
And I feel like there's really only been one other anime that did that, and I remember a lot of criticisms that it just looks too real, which, like, whatever.
Yeah,
but it's an art style that is at once, like, kind of, uncanny and also, very kind of relatable, I think.
Uh-huh.
Because it's an art style where you go, like, I can tell that these were people, and they've kind of drawn over them to be more anime-esque.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of a weird sort of thing that might fit with horror, I think, better.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. And I mean, the trailer really does look, you can definitely, like, tell sort of that it's rotoscope, but it also, it's well done. And it looks more like it just has a very creepy out there art style than, oh, this is just something that's drawn over live action footage. So it's definitely, it's not used as a crutch or anything like that.
Especially since it seems like they're focusing more on the characters than the backgrounds, because the backgrounds don't look like they're hardly lined in. While, like, there are a lot of hard lines on the characters.
Yeah. For
their outlines and everything, so to make them stand out more. So it could be neat. I had this on I'll wait until someone else tells me whether or not this is turning out good or not. For whether or not I'm gonna look into it. Because, Japanese horror, I think, hits a different sort of tone than a lot of, like, Western horror.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see kind of what it does with that. Hopefully less bondage.
I mean, for 30 years now, the West has been fooled into thinking that The Grudge is actually really good. And if that doesn't tell you just how much the foreign nature of Japanese horror media affects our perception of it, then I don't know what does. Also, this is going to be a series of shorts, so if it's bad, I mean, it's nothing lost, nothing found.
Oh, is it going to be, like, short stories?
Yeah,
kind of stuff?
It's 13 episodes of 5 minutes.
Oh, huh.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
And I think a lot of the best horror is short form, so...
I can see why short form is used.
Yeah.
I assume they're all going to be short vignettes as well. Okay.
So that's that.
So, last one on the B list is one neither of us are watching. I really just put it on there because I've heard that the original show is good. It's the second season of Noragami.
Okay.
Noragami Aragoto. And it's about a middle school student who's hit by a bus while trying to save someone else who fell into the street.
Oh, no.
And so she ends up becoming a half phantom because of it. and realizes that the person that she saved is a Japanese god, like reincarnated sort of thing.
Uh-huh.
So she ends up being dragged into this whole situation with gods and everything because she's supposed to be dead now. And while this person that she saved is trying to keep her in the living world, there are others that are coming and trying to take her away.
Okay.
Which is something I hear a lot of good things about it, and when I see it, it's like, oh, that's a nice animation style, but I've never gotten the urge to watch it. So I just wanted to put it up there because there are people who, like, are really into it that I know, and so I was like, if you liked that sort of thing, keep it up, sort of thing.
I thought it was interesting because it was the only show in the, like, definitely excited and maybe excited tiers that we had that wasn't being watched by either of us.
Yeah.
So I was sort of curious about it. But
that's just kind of why I pushed it there.
Yeah.
More so than some of the other, like, sequel series that we'll get to in a minute.
Mm-hmm.
But that's the end of our B tier.
Yep.
So I'll have you start off the C tier since your show's on first.
Alright, so now we get to the C tier, which is maybe this is going to be good, maybe not, about a 50% chance.
This is the more questionable
set. At least the ones that doesn't necessarily show potential, but it could have it. You never know. You never know with anime.
Mm-hmm.
The first one I've got on here is a series called Hakadol the Animation by creators in Pack and Trigger. And it's going to be a series of shorts, 10 minutes, and it's going to be about these sort of idol-looking like things that are the personification of apps
on a smartphone.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't really have any reason to think this is good, but the preview looked kind of cute, so I was like, I might check it out. This might be just like my like sugary happy show for this season.
When I watched it, there was like a little too much fan service.
Was there? I didn't notice that.
Like Trigger style fan service, where I was like, nah. And so, again, I'll let you take care of that one.
All right.
But yeah, Trigger's track record less than positive, I guess.
Yeah.
Or less than reassuring.
But this time, I guess they have someone else there to rein them in.
Maybe. Yeah, I guess they have another company coming in.
Yeah.
Maybe they can help rein it in a bit. Maybe they'll have it go even farther out of control.
I hope not.
We'll find out.
It'll just be an actual slideshow.
They're only 10-minute episodes, so it might be easier for everything to show up.
And I think it's also the only thing that Trigger is doing this season, except for the continuation of Ninja Slayer.
I thought it was over now.
Was it?
I think Ninja Slayer's over now, because they were only doing 24 episodes.
Then I think they're not doing anything else.
Fair enough. I mean, they don't need to.
No.
They're still riding off that hot-ass Kill la Kill money. All that money that Kill la Kill brought in. That's a shame. As you can see by the animation. I don't think that actually brought in as much money.
I don't know. I don't know if Kill la Kill is that popular.
So next up, we have The Perfect Insider, which is what I'm watching, and it's a mystery sort of series based around a series of novels, and I think got turned into a manga at some point.
Okay.
But it's about a guy who works at a research lab, and while he's there, he meets the daughter of his mentor, who's joining it on like a vacation. But as soon as she gets there, there's like a murder that happens in the vicinity of their research lab.
Oh no!
And so it appears to be kind of a cold case thing where like it's gonna be it suddenly becomes a series of murders as a serial murderer thing, and both of them are going to work to solve it.
Okay. So
I got burned pretty hard on mystery after Ranpo-Katan turned out to be kind of a Garbo.
All right.
But I like that sort of mystery setup, and so I want this one to be better.
Yeah.
And so I'm hoping that it turns out better.
I was sort of intrigued by this one, and maybe I should have put it on my watch list, but right now I don't feel comfortable watching anything by A1 before I hear that it is good.
That's fair.
So there's entirely a chance that this is going to be like their try hard series, because they make bad stuff like Sword Art Online that's guaranteed to make money.
And Gate.
Yeah. But I feel like that is in service of getting to make anime that they actually want to make, such as the 3 seasons of working.
Right.
And this could be one of those things, who knows, but it could also be fucking the worst. You know, that's the thing about anime, you never know.
It's impossible to know.
It's like a box of chocolates, but actually some of them are poop.
Never have I heard a more apt description of anime. Unfortunately, I looked up more about The Perfect Insider, and it looks like this art style is going to be a lot, like, grayer. It's like a lot less it's a lot more washed out than the original, which is a little unfortunate.
The original being...
The original, like, I think it turned into a manga at some point.
Oh, okay.
But
all right.
It's, like, a lot more vibrant, and I think a juxtaposition like that would be better than trying to have the whole, like, mood-setting kind of setup like that.
Yeah.
So next up is a mystery series you're picking up that I didn't, for similar reasons why you didn't pick up, The Perfect Insider.
Yeah, this one's called A Corpse Buried Under Sakuraku-san's Feet. That is the translated name because the original name is wicked long, and I didn't want to put it in this document. So if you're, let me quickly pull up the original Japanese name, which
Sakuraku-san no ashimoto ni wa shitai ga umateiru.
Yeah, that's right. It is a series that initially on the surface I was somewhat intrigued with it, but it definitely, like, I had doubts about it. Like, I have doubts with every, like, really dark mystery anime series. There's always the chance it's going to get gross and creepy in some way.
Right.
But I have a friend whose opinion I trust partially, who's read one of the books, and he said it was really good. So I'm going to give this anime a cautionary chance.
Yeah, so this is a series that I looked at and I thought, oh, also a mystery thing.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, the way that it describes itself in, like, the preview for this sort of thing is a little weird.
Uh-huh.
So I thought, it's not quite, I don't know if it's going to be quite what I'm interested in. Because it seems like it could be, like, murder mystery, it could be just, like, archaeology mystery, because it seems to be heavily based around bones.
Yeah.
So, and not the TV series, Bones.
No.
But, so, me and Jordan are going to be covering each other for mystery series this season. And telling each other whether or not it's the good stuff or the bad stuff. And then you have one more show you're watching from this tier, so I'll let you take care of that.
But I actually have to figure out which one this is. Hold on.
This is
that really inspires confidence in... Oh, right. Okay. So this is a series called Komori-san wa Kotowari Nai. And
or
I was
like,
actually...
Komori-san can't say no or something.
Yeah, that she can't refuse. And I was like really up until like a couple minutes before we started recording, I was considering whether or not I should put this on the list. Because it's a seinen, which means like meant for adult, like slice of life comedy that's based on a 4-tile gag manga.
And it's for like, kind of, late teens, early 20s men.
Yeah, and the story is basically, it's about this junior high school girl who is just too nice to decline when anyone asks her for a favor. And because she's like always like doing stuff and running around getting things done, she has achieved super strength. And that is like sort of the basis for like what I assume all the jokes are going to be about. Like, I think the art style looks really cute, and that's like the main thing that like interests me. And I mean, I'm always down for a good comedy show, but there is like, of course, the chance that this is going to be this season's Danshi guy, and it's immediately going to be like, oh, I fucked up.
Right, because also it's a short series.
Yeah, that is, in that way it is also similar.
The Danshi guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I first thought, I was like, is this going to burn you like Danshi guy did?
I hope not, but I don't know. I just hope it's going to be good.
Yeah, because as soon as I read 14-year-old too nice to decline requests, it's like, I'm
what
out.
kind of requests?
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, I'm out. So next up on our list, we have the 3rd season of Yuri.
Yeah. We've reached the end of all the shows that we're going to be watching, just by the way. No titty this season. Not on purpose, at least.
Yeah, for better or worse, we decided to skip out on that this season. Maybe for the best.
Yeah.
Well, now that we're not doing bi-weekly, we can't just drop it at once and immediately talk about how bad it is.
Uh-huh. Because that's engaging content.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, Yuri.
Um,
Chorps, what's your opinion about this series?
I'm trying to find the thing about it real quick.
Make sure you get the right one, because there's
there's also the series of shorts.
Yeah.
So, Yuri Season 3, like, I don't know much about Yuri. It's a slice of life about, middle school students that are all just in a club about, doing whatever they want. I think it's like the amusement club or something.
Yeah, the amusement club.
And so they just kind of do whatever they want. And so it's kind of the adventures of these middle school girls as they do whatever, kind of K-On!-esque without the music.
It's a series I've watched a couple episodes of, and I'm like hesitant to watch more because it really toes the line between being just like a kind of like a cheery, bubbly, funny series and being like just a little too maybe creepy, maybe moe blobby for me to enjoy. And I can't really get a grasp on like what side the series is really trying to be on. So it makes me a little uncomfortable.
Despite being like the anime trash sort of guy on this podcast the whole time, right? Like, realistically, K-On! Is the only real moe blob trash that I'm like super into. So like, when I saw Yuri, it's like, whatever. It doesn't have like that, edge is not the right word, but it doesn't have that like, it doesn't have that thing that pushes it.
It doesn't have that quality.
That quality that like pushes it against other like slice of life sort of stuff.
I also, like for the viewers at home, you have to understand that K-On! And Yuri are not two shows you can compare directly, because K-On! Does have a plot and like it has characters that develop, whereas Yuri is very much a gag series.
Right, but I want to say is like, as a series that are both slice of life and like as a group of ladies, it's just like K-On! Has the music thing going for it, which is what originally drew me to the series.
Okay.
Yuri is just like girls in middle school doing whatever, and like that doesn't interest me as far as something with another aspect to it.
Okay.
So, 3rd season. Sure. If you're into that, go ahead.
If you like it, you're probably gonna like this. Hey, Chorps, have you ever seen that one Twitter account that's like just pictures, and then there's like a picture of a Japanese like anime schoolgirl?
It.
Yeah, that's from this.
That's Yuri.
That's Image Bot, I think is what it's called.
Yeah.
I don't know what I don't get it.
It pulls from an API of someone's Google searches, and then pulls an image from Google image search of it, and then pastes that girl onto it.
Great. Bless you, Image Bot.
So then we have next a different mystery series that just like nothing about it grabbed me.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's no trailer out for this, I think.
There's no trailer out for it. It's called Kage Wanai, or Kage Wani. And it's about a guy who is trying to figure out, like, the background of these, like, kind of hideous monsters that seem to be appearing in the present time.
Yeah.
It's like, it's supposed to be some kind of, like, panic suspense sort of animation, so I assume kind of Cthulhu-esque?
Maybe.
But the art style is not immediately gripping.
Just from the poster alone, which is really all we have to go off for this series, I don't know how that style would translate into animation.
Yeah, because it's also an original series.
Yeah. It's also being produced by, like, Toe Movies, which I think is a new company.
Yeah, so...
Yeah. Or at least their animation branch is new, if I remember correctly.
So, not sure about that one.
Yeah.
And it's like, nothing seems super gripping about it. Like, all the monsters seem kind of very Western stylized, like for, like, game book sort of things. But I don't know how that's gonna fit when they also have a very, like, comical sort of, like, main character looking.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. It's just like, eh.
It could be good, but
yeah,
there's no way to know until the first episode's out.
Yeah, and it's not like gripping from like how it describes itself or anything else.
No. So next up, we have the 2nd season of Amero Coco.
Right, which you watched.
Which I did watch, and I sort of dropped it partway through just because I felt like it didn't work as a series of shorts. And it would have been better if it was just like a full anime, or maybe just like a single
episode,
or like a single episode, or like a short made for TV movie.
Okay.
And the only reason I put this on the maybe is because they hadn't established whether this season is going to be shorts as well. So if this is going to be like a full episodes, then yeah, I'm going to watch it. But until then, nah.
And they want to add more characters and cast members. They have a crowdfunding thing going on.
Oh, wow.
So who knows? They're probably going to be a series of shorts again.
Yep.
But we'll see.
We'll see.
So then next up we have Tantai Team KZ Jiken Note.
Yeah.
That is...
This is one that I put. I think you put it on the don't care list?
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
You talk about it a little bit.
It's like the basic gist is it's about a couple of like middle school children that get together and they go to solve mysteries. And I think the
Scooby-Doo, but anime.
Yeah, and the art style looks neat. And like I'm always down for that premise. But the thing is, there's no preview out yet or anything. And it's based on a novel, so there's not really anything I can like check out to see if it would be any good or not.
Also, they're going to be like half episodes because they're all 9 minutes.
Yeah, so it sounds intriguing, but I just have nothing to go off yet, so that's why.
So maybe.
Yeah.
It'll be looked at.
If I heard good things about it, then sure.
Or if, someone picks it up for streaming, it'll be like, oh, sure.
Yeah. And that's that.
Next up is another season of Garo, which I believe came out 2 seasons ago or so.
I don't know, but that
sounds
right.
And was like this very like low fantasy sort of setup that was kind of whatever from what I remember.
Mm-hmm.
And this one is basically only attached to it by name.
Yeah.
Because it is a period drama now set in ancient Japan, unlike before where it was kind of like European influence.
Mm-hmm.
And it has a female protagonist. And that's all we really know. Because the preview doesn't tell much either.
No, the preview is like all production art, so it's like...
Yeah, and I wasn't super into the original Garo, so I'm not interested in this one as much.
Yeah,
it's
me neither. But I mean, could be good. It's got Map on it, they do good stuff sometimes.
Yeah, Mappa does good stuff. It's if you're into kind of low fantasy, magic, supernatural sort of stuff, go ahead.
Yeah.
I'm not going to judge you.
I am, but in a good way.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to judge you, but it's going to be like, yeah, I mean, that's his business, That's my judgment.
Right. Okay. That's fair. That's a good judgment. So next up, we have more World Trigger.
Yeah, we have a spin-off series of World Trigger that is going to feature like the backstory of one of the characters. I think it's... Like, I watched World Trigger at some point, but only a couple episodes before it started boring me. But I think
it's anime. This is all anime exclusive stuff.
Yeah, this is not based on the manga. This is all original stuff. And I think the character it's going to be following is like the sort of like the older, laid back mentor guy of the group.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, there you go. I don't think World Trigger is anything special. Like it's really, really slow. And even though it has decent action scenes, it's just the plot is really by the numbers, and like you can see every plot twist coming from a mile away.
It's very shonen.
Yeah, and I genuinely don't know how it's still running in like Weekly Shonen Jump, because it's not great. It has no standout features, basically. But I mean, if you like World Trigger, then hey, you're probably lit up about getting to see more World Trigger.
Yeah, and I mean, like, if it's stuff that's original, it's like you don't have to worry about, I've already seen this before.
And it's also, like, or at least the episodes that I watched were, like, probably the best looking stuff Toei was putting out at that time, which was weird. But, I don't know. And I assume this is going to be done by Toei as well, although that's unconfirmed. But if it is, then maybe it'll look good as well.
Next up on the list is TQ Season 6. God, fucking TQ.
I don't know what this is, but...
TQ is... TQ is a 2-minute series where 1 minute is both the opening and ending.
Oh, right. You already watched this once, right?
I watched a season of it on my own time, not as like part of the podcast.
Oh, okay, because I seem to recall that, but I could be misremembering.
You're thinking of a different short series.
Yeah.
But TQ is about a group of girls in a tennis club, and it's based around a gag manga that the way they translate it to anime is that everyone talks very fast.
Oh my.
So it's kind of, in that 1 minute, you're going to get like 2 or 3 minutes worth of content because everyone's talking really fast. It's a very frantic sort of series.
Uh-huh.
Because like it's not exactly animated either. Okay. It's that sort of thing where the characters bounce instead of walking and sort of stuff. And like everything's very much in like stills rather than in actual animation. TQ is incomprehensible, honestly.
All right, so this is the kind of thing that's probably only exists just because it's so cheap to make, rather than because there's an established fan base for it.
I believe this is done by the guy who also does the gag manga. I'm not sure if that's true, but I know that basically this group just does TQ.
Okay.
And like they announced season 5 like last season, and before it had even finished, they'd announced season 6.
All right.
And I feel like it takes like $3 to make every episode.
Yeah. Just lunch for the staff.
Right. So I don't feel like, if you're into that, go ahead. I mean, like, I watched it and it was like, it's fun enough if you can like keep up with all the jokes flying at you.
Mm-hmm.
And some of them are like distinctly Japanese, so it's going to go over your head unless you're like very familiar with a lot of stuff. But it's an experience. Yeah, if you're into that, go ahead. I think they also they're getting a stage play adaptation done for TQ. I hope also it is done on like $3 budget, so they just walk out and say a million jokes and then walk out like the anime.
I hope it's just a puppet show.
You know what? That'd be fine.
Yeah.
I feel like that'd fit the theme better.
Yeah.
So the next one is weird.
This got me, this is apparently something that already exists as a manga, but I'd never heard of it before.
Okay, so it's two things that exist as a manga. This is, it is a combination of two Fist of the North Star parodies.
Uh-huh.
So we have DD Hokuto no Ken, which is like the like super deformed kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Which they already did an anime series of. But it's also adapting the, it's like Fist of the North Star Ichigo Aji, or like strawberry flavored.
Yeah.
Which apparently just takes one of the like minor villains from the very beginning and just kind of like forcibly inserts him into the rest of the series, just like to do awkward gag stuff.
Yeah.
Which, like, again, I'm not like super, I don't think I've actually seen a lot of Fist of the North Star, so I feel like any of this is just gonna fly over my head.
Yeah.
But if you're into Fist of the North Star, it's worth a shot, I guess, because like I have no idea what the comedy could be about this sort of stuff.
I have read the good half of Fist of the North Star, or at least what I am told is the good half of Fist of the North Star. And it was good, but the show doesn't have like such a place in my heart that I'm like, oh man, more Fist of the North Star stuff, just give me that shit, man, just fuck me up.
Right.
No, I'm just like, yeah.
It looks like it's going to be very much a like heavy Japanese parody sort of series.
Yeah, that also.
Because I just looked at the 30 seconds of preview that they gave, and it keeps cutting between the sort of like very like Fist of the North Star style animation and then this like super deformed sort of thing.
Yeah.
And at one point, the cat from Yokai Watch just shows up and punches the shit out of one of the characters from Fist of the North Star.
Oh man.
So like, you know what? If you're into that sort of like very wacky Japanese parody, go ahead. If you like Fist of the North Star. But it just seems like such a weird like niche thing to do in 2015.
Yeah, definitely. Like who?
Fist of the North Star has not been relevant for a while, I feel.
Yeah, I mean, no one. It's not really like it's a good series that I think has stood the test of time, but it's not really something that is timeless or has stuck in the public consciousness in the way that say JoJo Part 3 has.
Right. Specifically Part 3.
Well, that's like the most popular part, right?
Mm-hmm. The only reason Part 4 is more popular is because this is Araki's favorite part, so they keep making shit for it. As it turns out, this is what I learned.
Maybe like a better comparison is Dragon Ball Z, I guess.
Yeah, Dragon Ball Z has definitely hit the public consciousness better.
Yeah.
Because it keeps getting remakes rather than Fist of the North Star, which had its original run, and that's kind of it.
But I mean, even stuff that just like started and ended, like say maybe Trigun or Cowboy Bebop, like that has like stuck in the general mind, or maybe that's just in the West. I don't know about Japan, but Fist of the North Star, you really only hear like major anime and manga fanatics talk about it, and I don't think the general public really cares.
Or you see people that talk about like the French opening because it's really silly.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that it feels strange, but I mean, sure.
Sadly, this doesn't look like complete Garbo, because then we could say something along the lines of "You're already dead on arrival."
Damn, that would have been good.
Yeah.
I'm glad that joke made it in, though. Alright, and then the last one in our C list. Card Fight Vanguard G, Gears Crisis Hen.
Yeah.
Card Fight Vanguard is a very, so like if you look at like the hot-blooded sort of card game shows, like Yu-Gi-Oh! or say, like, Future Card Buddy Fight.
Yeah.
This is decidedly, like, a cold-blooded sort of series. Mm-hmm. Like, the point is that it is just kids playing a card game, and it's just about character interactions. And, you know, this very simple card game that isn't super flashy. Like, sure, the holograms show up, but they're not, like, full size, and they're not, you know, beating the shit out of things, and it's not suddenly Atlantis appears.
It's also very self-serious, but in, like, like, in a dark way. It's not like Yu-Gi-Oh! Where everyone's all, like, bombastic and, oh, no, if I lose this game of cards, the whole world's gonna go down.
Yeah, it's very much smaller drama where, like, the main character is very, unsure of himself in his skills and his, you know, kind of feelings as a person.
I'm pretty sure one of the first things they established in the first episode of the series is that his parents both died in a car accident.
Right. Meanwhile, Card Fight Vanguard G, different series, same game, but, very much more Yu-Gi-Oh!
Okay.
Like, the main character has stupid red hair with a pink swirl that goes around it.
But that was the regular Card Fight Vanguard too, right?
No, that's Card Fight Vanguard G.
Okay.
Card Fight Vanguard has, like, a lot, like, lower designs.
Okay, because what I was talking about with the car crash must have been Card Fight Vanguard G.
Vanguard G.
Because that also had the Sully hair.
But so Card Fight Vanguard G also has, like, idols as villains, and, like, all kinds of stuff like that. It seems a lot less self-serious than its original.
No, it still is. Yeah.
I said less.
Alright.
Just from the designs and everything that they've put out about it.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like, sure, you know what? That's more card game anime. I love my card game garbage. So, might be worth watching. I haven't seen anything much of Card Fight Vanguard because it was a little too self-serious, I think, for what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
I'm looking for plots where, you know, suddenly they go to different dimensions and have to fight their way out of hell or whatever.
If you're gonna watch any card game anime this season, make it Arc V. The dub's going on right now. If that's your thing, you could do that. But, I mean, it's also the original show's been going on, or, like, the sub
for 73 episodes.
Yeah, it's been going on for a while. It gets pretty dark, too, if you're into that.
Oh, it's super good, though.
It's super good. Even the dub's really good. Like, all the jokes translate so well. Arc V, genuinely the best Yu-Gi-Oh! So far. Fight me.
The nice thing about Arc 5, too, is that, it's very much back to the sort of 4Kids style where, like, they give people silly accents.
Yeah.
In order to, like, differentiate them a lot more. So they have this, like, Japanese dude with a pompadour, and in the dub he's got a southern accent. Yeah. Like, super heavy, too. It's great. But yeah, Arc 5 rules.
Arc 5 is super good.
Let's see. So now we're at to the D tier. This is stuff we just, could not give really any care about.
This is probably going to be the shotgun round. And also the round where we have to control F on live chart to remember what shows these even are.
Right. So Lance and Masks is the first one on here. And it looks, the art style is, like, very disconcerting because all of them look like children.
Uh-huh. This is one of the shows I was talking about earlier where it seems like this season the people trying to make the Sword Art Online money are coming in droves. And this is, I think, one of those shows. This
is a Sword Art Online money sort of thing, but I think more children. Mm-hmm. Maybe they're children. They look very uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like he has to... Some guy is like a knight, and so he has to save some girls. The end.
Yep.
That's all I could get from it. Sometimes he wears a mask and has a huge, like, fuck-off mech lance.
Yeah. Sorry, Studio Gokumi. I don't think this one's gonna strike it with the general public.
Then we have the third season of Miss Monochrome, which... Miss Monochrome's, like, about a virtual singer who hates color.
Uh-huh.
And wants everyone to be monochrome and, like, meh.
That's sad.
Yeah, that's not cool.
Who would want their idol lady to be sad? That's weird.
Yeah, right?
But then again, I think, like, horror Vocaloids is a pretty big subgenre, so what do I know?
Let's see. Then we have Kindachi Shonen no Jikenbo Returns, which is a continuation of some sort of, like, mystery, seems very, like, Case Closed-esque setup. And it's just like, oh, it's a sequel to a thing I don't know anything about. Moving on.
Done by Toei, so probably no good.
Right, Toei, so probably bad, but, I mean, like, have you seen Case Closed? Like, there's not much animation going on.
I mean, fair enough.
Next up, we have Shingeki Kyojin Shugako, or, Attack on Titan High School.
Oh, yeah.
done by Production IG. Whatever. Attack on Titan.
They're getting that money so they can make Haikyuu. I respect
Attack
it.
on Titan's dumb.
That's okay. I mean, this isn't even like Attack on Titan, right? This is like it's a chibi spin-off, but then also it's still serious, I think. Because like at the end of the preview, it had like the big fleshy Titan coming in, and it was like a genuinely serious scene, and that was kind of weird.
Yeah, I don't know. Either way, whatever. Next up, we have another Gundam series by Sunrise.
Great.
Kido Senshi Gundam Taketsu no Orphans. Not actually about war orphans. It is in fact about a group of children who are left at a Gundam facility on Mars, and that's why they're orphans, because all the adults leave, and they have to like fight people or whatever. Because of course they do. It's probably something about war in there. Anyway.
Then we have Onsen Yosei Hakone-chan, which is about a hot springs fairy coming back to life. But
what?
Yeah, or like she's laid
this.
dormant for a lot of years, and now she's come back to life. Except she has taken on the appearance of a young girl. So maybe creepy, maybe not. It doesn't list ecchi anywhere in the description, so it's probably gonna be okay. But you never know.
Yep. Next up, High School Star Musical, which seems like another thing where they're like really pushing on this like boy idol sort of thing. Like trying to catch in on that Udapri money. Although I heard that the last season of Udapri not as good as the other ones, where like guys turn into like leopards and stuff. But that's also, I thought, oh man, is this the anime version of that High School Musical manga? It's not. So I was disappointed that way.
That is a shame. I was under the impression that was that as well, because that has the same name, right?
High School Musical. I don't know if it's High School Star Musical, but I was like, oh man, that has the same 3 words.
Yeah.
Osumatsu-san is, I liked the art style when I looked at it.
Yeah.
But it's also based on some 27-year-old, manga television series about, sextuplets who are all in love with the same girl, and now they're, grown up and adults, and it's just them dealing with it. And I feel like without context, it's just going to be impossible to understand what's going on.
Okay.
And that's why I put it on this this part of the list.
Then there's Hidan no Aria AA, which is, if you've ever seen one of those pictures that people post as a joke to make fun of anime, where you see a little girl where it's like the generic anime art style, but it's like they took it too far. Like the eyes are too big and too far apart.
Yeah.
That's this to the max. And then also it's one of those shows where it's like cutesy little girls in like a really dark, serious situation, which is already like recipe for disaster.
They all have guns and stuff.
Yeah. It's the worst.
But what if my anime waifu had a gun? So Dances with Devils, following that, is a brains-based, otome sort of story. It's an original thing, but it's like, reverse harem, like, oh, this girl's at school, and then suddenly she has to, something bad happens, and she has to live with 5 hot demons.
I mean, I assume they'd be hot. They're coming straight out of heck.
Has the potential to be, Diabolic Lovers, where it's like heavily into like domestic abuse. But it could just be like a whatever otome series.
Yeah.
Either way, we're probably not good.
No. Probably Twilight level at best.
Right.
And at worst, the bad Twilight subtext.
Right. Either it's the Twilight text or it's the subtext.
Yeah.
Next up is Fushigi na Samara-chan, which is some like comedy slice of life magic thing where they have magic powers and they turn into robots and stuff, and I just didn't care.
And that's like the one joke they have.
Yeah, the art style wasn't that great. There's a section in the PV where someone's clothes all rip off and they're censored, and it's like, I'm done. I'm out. I was out before, but I was especially out after that.
Then there's FutureFriend unfortunately died too early to witness this, the second season of Seraph of the End.
Yeah, well, damn. I can't believe he has to miss out on this.
Another series that I can't believe is still running in Shonen Jump, because it's just no redeeming qualities.
I've always wanted to see 2 assholes sort of look at each other vaguely romantically, and then also kill a vampire.
Yeah.
Then we have Gochumon wa Usagi desu ka, which is the second season of the show of the same name, but it has 2 question marks now instead of 1.
Whoa.
I love that style of naming sequels, really like great. With K-On! And stuff. And Working, I think, does the same thing.
Yep. And I think Haikyuu does it as well. I think the first one was
way,
just... Oh, well. Yeah.
Well, either way. This one is about some girls that work at, like, a cafe.
Mm-hmm.
Great.
Imero Coco, but
with moes.
Yeah.
There's, like, super moe.
One of the character in Imero Coco is pretty moe, but...
Okay. But yeah, so there's that.
Yeah.
K, Return of Kings, is the second season of K, which I heard started out pretty good, turned into a hot mess later.
Yeah, definitely, like, you really only have to look at the picture to see that this is probably not that great.
The only thing I know about K, and I continue to only know about K, is that there's that guy who does the sweet skateboard flips and then fights a guy with a katana using his skateboard. Definitely
also another show that is trying to get that sort of online money.
Then we have the last one on our D tier, which is Sokino Fafner, Dead Aggressor, Exodus, second season.
More like Fafner about. I don't know anything about Fafner, but it's a mecha show, so not for me.
Yeah, it seems like it's getting that sort of online money, but also with mechs.
So it's also getting that Gundam money. Some of the character designs are alright, though. I gotta give them that.
Alright, that's fair. And now we hit our trash Garbo-Tier, the things that we're pretty sure objectively. So first up, Gakusen Toshi Asterisk, which again fits into the Sword Art Online like
this is
genre.
The most transparent about trying to get that Sword Art Online money, and surprise, surprise, it's an A1 Pictures production.
I was really sad because when I first looked at the art style, it does kind of like that hard shading sort of thing where it's closer to black.
Uh-huh.
And so I really like that sort of style with the kind of more vibrant colors that they have. And then I was like, oh, it says ecchi. Oh, it's just Sword Art Online. Oh.
Is this show coming out anymore? Because I can't actually find it on the site.
It's here.
Okay.
It's right under Fafner. But there it is. But it's not... It's whatever. I'm pretty sure it's going to be bad.
Yeah, probably.
Because, I mean, look, Sword Art Online was written the months after Dot Hack came out, so that's
after,
transparent.
Like, the popular Dot Hack video game came out.
This is even more transparent than that.
Yeah.
But, then we have Diabolic Lovers More Blood, which I referred to earlier when talking about something else. Diabolic Lovers is a show about a lady who suddenly has to live with a whole bunch of vampires, and they're really into abusing her. And that's supposed to be romantic.
I mean, that's kind of like Twilight, too.
But like, this is like sadistic sort of
All right,
torture.
Yeah, I mean, fair enough. That is no...
Yeah, this is like actively, like,
maximum
physical.
No good.
Yeah, that's the best way to describe it.
Yeah. Holy cross that one off the list.
Then we have Owari Monogatari, which is another Monogatari, which means that it's probably going to be even more heavily into the sort of the like incesty sort of things that author is really known for.
Yep. Huge waste of the talent that works at Shaft.
Yeah. Because, like, as far as I hear, Bakemonogatari was the good one, and the rest of them have really more heavily, like, looked into the, like, incestuous sort of themes.
Mm-hmm.
Like that scene with that toothbrush.
Yeah.
But, so that's that. Then we have another Sword Art Online-like.
Uh-huh, definitely. Rakudai Kishi no Cavalry. This was one that you almost put on, like, the don't care list, but then I referred to the description where, like, at the end of a duel between two characters of this, like, magic knight school, the loser must be obedient for life.
Yep. And it's a school sword action story.
Yep.
Okay, so apparently these weapons are made from their souls, which whatever. But, yeah, this is stupid, and the thing that caught me is that I didn't read the description, like, that far. I saw that it was like this, like, whatever, and it doesn't have ecchi or harem written on it.
Nope.
So I was like, oh, maybe it's... Oh, I think I've been tricked. I think I've been fooled.
For the last time. One of the many no-good shows Silverlink is producing this season.
God damn, because next up, another Silverlink production. You put an etc. on here because the title is so long because it's a light novel adaptation. To do the English one, it's basically I got picked up to be a sample commoner at a school for princesses or something like that. And basically it's about a guy who gets abducted into a school for like young ladies from like wealthy families to be high class.
Yeah. And
so they're like, oh, we need a sample commoner to, treat as a slave or whatever kind of thing, or like to get them into it. So that's what that's about. And
Also, apparently one of the main jokes of the show is that everyone thinks the main character is gay, even though he's not.
Yeah, and also has a muscle fetish.
Thanks, anime.
And so, not only was it going to be bad anyways, because it's like a gross harem thing with like people that look like they're 12.
Uh-huh.
But also... So that sucks.
Yep, yeah.
Then we have Anatori EX, which I originally also didn't have on here until I realized the implications of it because of other shows like it.
Yep.
It is about 5 young girls who exercise.
It is basically this season's Pillow Boys.
Yeah, except...
even worse.
I don't know, Pillow Boys got pretty bad.
Oh, did it? I only watched the first episode.
Boy, some of the implications in there. But it seems like one of those things that could either be like the Moavation style app where it's like, hey, fat nerd, why don't you work out? Like, I mean, that's okay. But like, it also could be like, what is it? Is it like Training with Hanako?
I don't know.
There's like a series that's like, some big titty girl that like sleeps and also works out and it's like very fan service heavy, and it could end up like,
all right,
we're nipping it in the bud early by just assuming that it's going to be bad.
Yeah.
Next up is I hate pronouncing all of these names.
Yeah.
You do this one.
All right, it's Mado Gakuen 35 Shiken Shoutai.
Which is some kind of it's a Sword Art Online like.
Yeah, but it's with the real military, I guess.
Yeah, it's with a military, an anti-magic academy.
Yeah.
So the military fights sorcery, and also it's ecchi harem fantasy. So it's a gate like.
Yep. So another Silverlink production.
Thanks, Silverlink.
Thanks.
Oh no, the main character can't use guns and can only fight with a sword, the most honorable of weapons.
Yeah.
And then someone who's really good at an ultra elite pistol master
That's me.
Joins the platoon. Oh, okay.
Then there's Shinmai Mao no Testament Burst, which
aka the sister New Testament devil sister.
Oh shit!
Devil,
right,
Testament.
that's what this is. I keep forgetting.
Yeah.
So this is like
this is
season?
the second season.
Oh god.
Then you have a second season of this, which that sucks.
Yeah, that's a real shame.
Yeah, it's about a girl who gets real horny when she says no to someone, and so she has to get jerked off.
So that's like the opposite of that one show I'm watching. I mean,
what?
But with none of the horniness.
Wait, what?
It's like the girl that can only say yes.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Except it's the opposite. It's not as gross.
Yeah. I mean, hopefully. We have no
God.
confirmation of that.
Yeah.
Hmm.
No confirmation yet. But yeah, so that sucks, and I'm sad that they're making another one.
Yep.
Because now he has a full harem or whatever.
Yep.
But, yeah, so let's see.
Last on the list.
Last on the list is Valkyrie Drive Mermaid, which is a multimedia series that's getting an anime, and then soon after is getting a game, and then probably something else.
No.
But it's about it's about these girls who fight, and they get sexually attracted to other girls. And then when these girls kiss or do something vaguely sexy, one of them turns into a sword, and then they fight.
So it's like Soul Eater.
It's kind of like Soul Eater, but like these really grossly animated women.
So it's like Soul Eater not.
Yeah, like Soul Eater not. They kind of grossly kiss, and then one of them turns into a sword, and then they fight someone else. And like the main character is like this red-haired girl who turns into a sword and is a mermaid. That's why it's called Mermaid.
Okay.
She's not a real mermaid. She's a mermaid because she turns into a sword or something.
Yep.
But, and then the other main character is some one-winged blonde lady who doesn't know how to close her shirt. Maybe her boobies are too big to do it. I don't know.
That's an excuse. I want to point out, by the way, that Soul Eater is actually really good, and I like it a lot.
Right. Soul Eater, not as much.
No, I mean, it's alright, but...
I said not as much.
Not as much, yeah.
But yeah, so, I think that's all the anime.
There's at least one that we missed, I can tell you right now, and that is a show called Ketsue Kigata-kun 3rd Season, which is apparently like a comedy about the stereotypes of blood types in Japan.
Oh, we did miss that.
Yeah, and which is a really strange premise to me, because at least where I come from, and I assume where you come from, blood types don't matter at all.
No, but it's a heavy thing in Japanese culture, and is actually derived from like racist Nazi science.
Oh, okay. Huh.
Yeah, about how not like your blood type and also your star sign are like heavy indicators of what you are going to act like and your compatibility with other people.
Okay.
I did a write-up about it at some point, but it's like,
Yeah, it's
a very silly sort of thing. I remember one politician was like, I am sorry for the actions I have done. It's because of my blood type.
Oh my.
Happened at least once. But that's why in a lot of like game manuals and stuff, you'll see blood types because it's supposed to be an indicator of their personality.
Learn something new every day.
Yeah. I think Final Fantasy VII had that very heavily ingrained.
So that's that show. I've never seen it before, and it doesn't look that interesting to me. So
yeah. Anyways, so that's all the anime.
There's also a couple kid shows that we didn't list.
There are kid shows we didn't list because, for the most part, they're probably not going to make it over here. Is the thing.
Yeah. And also, a lot of these don't get announced until like 2 days before they air, so we couldn't include them in this. Right,
but like a lot of the kid shows aren't going to make it here anyway, so we covered all the ones that are possibly going to be like licensed or at least fan subbed somewhere.
For better or for worse.
Yeah. Like I'm sure Crunchyroll will pick up Sister Testament, Devil's Testament.
Yeah. I'm sure they'll get a package deal from Silverlink.
Thanks, Silverlink. Oh, wow, that's a lot of anime.
That is so much anime.
And we're watching...
all of it.
Yeah, we're going to watch every single one. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We're close to even. You have a few more anime than I do.
And I have a lot more maybes than you do, so...
yeah. So we'll see how things turn out, and in a couple weeks, once the season's over proper, we'll be back to tell you about what we thought about last season, any of the shows we stuck with, and what made us stay or drop with them.
And maybe even some shows we picked up partway through.
Yeah. Because, I mean, we didn't end up talking about that for last season.
Yeah.
So, join us next time when we talk about that. I've been ChorpSaway.
I've been Jordan. And now, to put an end to the podcast and to honor the memory of our good buddy FutureFriend, we're going to play his favorite song. Thank you for all you've done, FutureFriend. You're always with us in our hearts. By the way, he didn't actually die.